And welcome back to Atreyu News. Look, it's working. ICE nabs escaped prisoner during raid. During a raid to remove criminal immigrants from the U.S., ICE nabbed a man who had escaped from prison in 2003. ABCNews.go.com reports a man who escaped from Illinois prison in 2003 while serving an 8-year sentence on a drug charge has been arrested by immigration and customs enforcement agents at his home in Atlanta. Great job, boys. George Romaldo was taken into custody Friday as a part of an immigration enforcement that targeted criminals, according to an ICE News release. Authorities say Romaldo is a Mexican national who is in the U.S. illegally. Romaldo was convicted in March 2003 of a felony charge of cocaine possession and sentenced to 8 years in Stateville Correctional Center, about 40 miles southwest of Chicago. Authorities say he escaped while on work detail in June 2003. It's unclear whether the 58-year-old spent the past 14 years, and authorities did not disclose how they located him. Well, that's fantastic work. That one criminal off the street, who knows whether he's violent or not. Perhaps, thousands of dollars of taxpayer money would be saved from the lives he could have destroyed that got in his way. So, great news. This Trump supporter's dream came true. I remember this during the rally. We the people, our movement is the reason why our president in the United States is standing in front of us today, said Gene Huber, who lined up for the rally at 4 a.m. Eastern. How cool would that be? Being pulled on stage by President Trump was a dream come true for Florida man.
It's a dream come true. I've been supporting President Trump for over 2 years now. And my goal was to be first online, but I had no clue he was going to point to me and say, "Get on up here."
Now, you were there at 4 in the morning. I understand you were almost like sort of camped out, almost first in line. I think our own Griff Jenkins interviewed you. Donald Trump saw that on television.
From the airplane.
From the airplane, sees that's my guy. So you got there. Why so early?
Because I wanted to make sure I was number one. That was the reason.
Well, you were.
So,
Gene,
yep.
You were number one, and you were really the star of the night. Tell us a little bit about you. Gene, what do you do, and what is it about President Trump and during the campaign that was so attractive to you?
When President Trump talks, I'm glued to that TV. He has common sense, he's smart, and he knows what he's doing. Look at what he's created, a billionaire. He's smart, and this is what we need in our country. He speaks the truth from the heart. And that's the most important thing that really grabs my attention with him.
Speaking of grabbing.
But each day of the 2 years, it just grew on me every single day of the love that I have for our president.
And now it's bigger than ever.
And speaking of grabbing, we know off camera when the president was calling you, there's this thing called the Secret Service, and they're probably not listening to the president. They've got an earpiece in their ear like I do right now, and they're listening to the other Secret Service agents. They're probably not listening to the speech necessarily, making sure that everyone's safe. All of a sudden, the Secret Service sees somebody climbing over the barricade because the president asked you to climb over the barricade. Take us to that moment. What happened with the Secret Service?
Well, like I said, he says, "You're a healthy guy. Jump over that fence." I said, "Sure." Next thing I notice, I get pretty much tackled, grabbed, and I'm getting forced out of the building. And I'm like, the president wants to talk to me.
And you made up on that stage. Gene, did you even sleep last night?
That's hilarious. Trump says jump the barricade and they tackle the poor guy. That's hilarious. Hillary's American author just gave President Trump a great idea. Well, we know this guy, Dinesh D'Souza, which I highly recommend to watch his film called Hillary's America. And it goes into great detail and depth of the history of the Democratic Party, on the real atrocities and who really did the bad things in the past. I'd like to see Donald Trump relocate 1,000 Syrian refugees to Beverly Hills and then gauge Hollywood's take on the subject. Well, that'd be fantastic. Because I noticed the same people who live behind walls, who have their own separate communities, have their own security, and have their own personal matrix that won't allow any of us to associate with them, like Hollywood stars and such, would be the first ones to tell us that we should give all our rights away, all of our freedoms, to people that weren't even born here. The whole thing is just a joke.